We are glad to say that those remains do come back as a positive match for Travis Decker.
After nearly 4 months, the search for Travis Decker is over. The Chelan County Sheriff confirming today he is dead. The latest on the case, new tonight.
I heard somebody yelling outside, I just got shot.
A day after a deadly shooting on Spokane's South Hill that left 2 men dead, another in critical condition, we are hearing from witnesses and learning more about what happened.
As wind dies down tonight, we're talking a very chilly start to Friday and a cooler day ahead.
A nearly 4-month search coming to a close tonight. The remains of Travis Decker confirmed to have been found less than a mile from where he brutally murdered his 3 young daughters. The Chelan County Sheriff confirming the news today, and tonight we are looking back at the massive effort it has taken to close the case. Good evening and thank you for joining us for the KREM 2 Night Report. I'm Mark Hanrahan. The DNA match of remains found last week brings an end to one of the darkest cases in Washington history. Eric Wilkinson with our Seattle sister station reports from Chelan County.
It's been 128 days since those 3 little girls were reported missing by their mother, Whitney. After an expansive manhunt sprawling several states, their killer, their father, was discovered less than a mile from the murder scene.
We found Mr. Decker, he's accounted for, and then we can say that threat to our community is confirmed, no longer a threat.
The announcement coming from a grateful and somber Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison.
One of the most horrific crimes that we've seen in Chelan County, and we're glad to put it behind us. Personally, I certainly just feel for the family. I couldn't imagine that as a father to lose any of my kids, especially all 3. And I hope that we never see anything like this in Chelan County again.
Travis Decker suffocated his 3 little girls at a campsite near Leavenworth in May. Authorities conducted 3 fruitless searches spanning 2,900 square miles in several states. It was a 4th that began a few weeks ago with the help of a specially trained Washington State Patrol psychologist that pinpointed where Decker would likely be hiding.
She had highlighted an area of interest that was on Grindstone Mountain. She even guesstimated about what elevation we were looking at. We really appreciate her insight.
In the end, Decker's body was found on Grindstone Mountain, just 3/4 of a mile from the murder scene. DNA testing and several items of clothing confirming his identity.
We understand no matter what, this is not going to bring Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia back. If anything, we just hope that maybe she would sleep better at night. She wouldn't be looking over her shoulder. And to Whitney, certainly hope you know that we never gave up, and Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, their memories will live on forever. Thank you.
The coroner's office is trying to determine exactly how and when Travis Decker died. They say it will likely be months before we begin to get those answers, if we ever get them definitively. In Wenatchee, Eric Wilkinson, King 5 News.
All right, switching gears to talk weather on this Thursday evening with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. Jeremy, wildfire smoke blowing in tonight. I think we're still in that unhealthy category.
Yeah, Mark, I can smell it out here on the back patio. It's kind of intense. But that all comes as a cold front swept the region a bit earlier. Let's walk you through what's going on outside because our temperatures are falling. We are already down in the 60s, peak wind gust earlier today at 26 miles per hour. But as Mark mentioned, air quality sits at a 156. Tonight, it's just going to hover between unhealthy and moderate. Tomorrow, it'll slowly start to improve throughout the day. Basically, wind from the west blows the smoke from wildfires burning to our west. We have multiple fires burning in the Cascades right now, and that just moves in. Not until wind shifts direction tomorrow do we wind up seeing an improvement. So as it goes, it just keeps moving. Moves through, moves out. This is our cold front. As the cold front exits the region, sunshine returns. Tomorrow starts out a bit hazy, but we'll likely see improvements throughout the day. I think eventually we do contend with that smoke again, but not until later this weekend. Also, this weekend's looking nice and even quite sunny across the region.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. Well, Spokane's air quality, as we just mentioned, has dropped dramatically. It was so bad that the Ridgeline Shado game was canceled tonight due to poor air quality. And as evidenced by that wildfire smoke, we are still in the thick of fire season, and Spokane Valley firefighters are looking to educate homeowners on if where they live poses a risk. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy tells us how they're planning to do that.
I'm just off of Mission Avenue in Spokane Valley. Right behind me is I-90, and just beyond that is the Spokane Valley Mall. This is one of many areas Spokane Valley firefighters say poses a risk to wildfires. Dead trees and dry brush are all to see between I-90 and Mission Avenue. It's where Riley Martin's mother lives along with her neighbors. She says it wouldn't take much for her family's home to get caught in a fire.
If you think about it, there's enough brush down there that can start and move up towards us, and then we've got trees.
Martin says there have been several occasions where accidents left her family's home vulnerable to a fire.
Chains break, tires pop, people put out a cigarette and it gets thrown. It's all like the perfect combination for something bad to go wrong.
That's something that could go wrong is exactly what Spokane Valley firefighters are focused on, and they just got a big financial boost to do something about it. The fire department is receiving $5.5 million over the next 5 years to reduce wildfire risks and educate the public on areas at risk of burning and destroying property. The grant comes from the Community Wildfire Defense Grants Program, which allocates $200 million across dozens of wildfire projects nationwide. Spokane Valley Fire is one of 4 fire departments in Washington state getting the money to help lower risk of wildfires across 2,000 acres. Including these 60 acres of land off of Mission, the firefighters say can ignite quickly and easily.
The tree line that has low-hanging branches, which contributes to the fire going up into the trees.
Deputy Fire Chief Ken Johnson says the department's partnering with the Department of Transportation, who owns the land off the interstate, to help clean up dead trees and low-hanging branches. He says the work will make it more difficult for wildfires to spread and easier for fire crews to navigate. Johnson says it's not just mitigation. The grant will also pay for outreach, talking with property owners about the fire risks where they live.
Any opportunity where we can interface with the community events and having opportunities to talk with homeowners that are interested.
Johnson estimates the grant funding work will start next spring, work that will help ease concern for neighbors like Martin, who've long been concerned about the risk of fires.
Really bringing awareness to what could be going on down there too that could cause more harm than good.
Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
And now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. 2 men are dead, another in critical condition following a shooting on the South Hill last night. It happened on 34th Avenue in Myrtle at around 9 last night. Neighbors say the 2 men who died were inside a car in the driveway of a house. They got into a verbal confrontation with a man who lives at that house, which then turned violent. SPD believes the 3 men knew each other. KREM 2 spoke with the neighbors who live directly across the street.
I heard somebody yelling outside, I just got shot, somebody help, so ran and told my wife to call 911 and ran outside and found my neighbor lying, bleeding out in his front yard.
Police say there is no additional threat to the community and that no one else was injured during the shooting. SPD also says no new updates will be released at this time. New tonight, the city of Spokane is launching a new coordinated outreach model to help tackle the homeless crisis. Starting in October, the city will provide location-based outreach teams to connect the unhoused with necessary services. In addition, the city's navigation center will transition to day use, expanding access to support services for up to 80 people at a time. Catholic Charities and Jules Helping Hands will help facilitate the models. You can read all the details on this plan on our website. Just head to KREM.com. Washington Secretary of State Steve Hobbs says he will not hand over private voter information to the Department of Justice. The DOJ demanded access to the state's voter database earlier this month, claiming it's asking for the information to ensure compliance with the National Voter Registration Act and the Help America Vote Act. Hobbs wrote in a letter that he has concerns that that is not the real reason for the request, but would provide selective data like voter names and addresses. Drivers are about to see some big changes at the I-90 and State Highway 41 interchange in Post Falls. Tonight, ITD partially reopened the road hours ago. It's been under construction since 2022. ITD says the reopening will require closing overnight. Drivers can expect the eastbound off-ramp and westbound on-ramp to be closed 7 p.m. tonight to 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And that's it for your night beat. For more information on any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. All right, don't go to bed just yet. Former FBI Director James Comey indicted by a federal grand jury. The charges that he is facing coming up later. But first, residents on the West Plains forced to wait once again for clean water. What's the delay for? We find out in 90 seconds.